Welcome to SUSD Spotlight, your go-to source for all things happening within the district. Whether it's celebrating student and staff achievements, delving into trending education topics, or highlighting inspiring human interest stories, we've got you covered. Join us as we illuminate the incredible endeavors taking place in our schools and forge connections within our community. Get ready to be informed, inspired, and engaged as we embark on this journey together, spotlighting the extraordinary in SUSD. Welcome to another edition of SUSD Spotlight. Today we are really excited to have in studio the teacher for Chaparral High School's Criminal Justice Program, Tarnisha Tilson, along with two of her students, Charlie and Angie. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
So as we get started, Tarnisha, I would love for you to share with us what the Criminal Justice Program is at Chaparral High School and how long you've been teaching it.
Of course. So the Criminal Justice Program at Chaparral High School is a 2-year career and technical education CTE program, and we section the program off into 4 semesters, each semester covering a different phase or element of the criminal justice system in its entirety. So the first semester, students learn more about law enforcement and police work, security. Second semester of the first year, they learn about forensic science, criminal law, the investigation aspect of the criminal justice system. And then the second year, when they come back the first semester, they're able to learn about criminal law in the court. So that's where we spend a lot of time in our courtroom, practicing different cases, and also able to participate in teen court. And then they close the program out second year, the 4th semester in the program, learning about corrections, so our prisons and our jails, correctional facilities in America.
So Charlie and Angie, are you in first year, second year?
So we're in second year, but it's also known as advanced. So last year we both took introduction to criminal justice, and now we're in advanced.
And why did you choose to enroll in the class? What drew you to it?
During COVID, it kind of gave me a lot of time to be watching those kind of crime shows. And when the class was available for me, I decided to take it, and it was Ms. Tilson's first year. And there's something about her class that just gravitates me to come back and to be involved in it as much as I can.
Well, that's a great testament. So you mentioned something about teen court, and I'm not sure that people really know what that is. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what the teen court really is and what kind of experience that provides for your students.
Yes, of course. So the Teen Court program is a partnership that we have with Maricopa County Superior Courts, the juvenile branch, the juvenile division, in which we are able to hear and participate and engage in court decisions involving teenage youth around their age, and they're able to make executive decisions essentially in a courtroom environment, impacting peers who have unfortunately engaged in some form of activity that is not in accordance with what they should be doing for their age, right? So we receive the case from the courts. Our probation officer assigned to our school, come to the school, and they drop off the actual case. Our students determine who will take on the role as the attorneys, who will be victim advocates, who's going to serve in the jury, who's going to be the judge, who's going to be the clerk for the particular case. And so there's prep work that goes into it. So they have to read the police report and start writing opening statements, closing arguments. They have to also write victim impact statements for whomever has been impacted by whatever unfortunate behavior teenage youth in the Scottsdale community has engaged in. Am I missing anything? Am I forgetting anything?
So this is not mock trial. This is a real trial.
It's a real opportunity, real trial opportunity for our students at the Chaparral High School and in the criminal justice program to, again, get a police report, look at the facts of the case, kind of figure out what happened and how they would like to kind of advocate for the victim and also the teenager as well, because with juveniles or teenagers who engage in unfortunate, behavior in the community, it's all about rehabilitation, restorative justice, restorative practices. So that's what we try and teach. And the students, they're able to go into the courtroom and truly learn about everything that's happened with this case and come together to make a decision and provide the decision to the teenager, right? So it may be community service, it may be an apology letter. So how can you right the wrong that you have done so far in the community?
So this is relatively new to Chaparral. So I'm curious, how many of these trials, do you call them, have you all been a part of? And like Charlie, which roles have you played in this?
So far, I believe we've done about 4 or 5 actual trials. We do one about one a month, and we didn't do one, and I think we started around maybe September because we had to, learn all the roles and go over them before we actually started. So the specific roles that I've actually been are prosecutor. I was the first defense prosecutor for our first ever trial, and I'd say it was a really good experience because we got plenty of time to work on the actual statements and stuff. It was a team of 3 of us, so each of us kind of split up the duties. So
For each side, there was 3 prosecuting attorney, and then 3 defense. So
yeah, so I was the one that did the direct examination on the defendant. So I asked all the questions that maybe the jury would need to know more facts about the case. And my partners they did really good. They did the opening and closing, and the other side also did a great job. I'm on the jury, so basically I kind of was on both sides. So I listened to the questions and asked questions of my own from the jury side, and then we go into the room and then deliberate and then give a sentence once we figured out what was viable for them.
And what roles have you played, Angie?
I've played the jury foreperson, so that is the person that gives the verdict that the jurors have come up with, and I've been a prosecuting attorney twice.
Wow. And so how has this opened your eyes to the way things play out in a courtroom? And has it helped you identify a potential career pathway or even rule one out?
I'd say it introduced me to all of the work and prep work that lawyers have to go through in order to just do one case. Obviously ours is much scaled down. It's just misdemeanors mostly and stuff, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and we get plenty of time to do it in class. So I'd say a lot of the prep work is, I'd say, a motivator for me to maybe look more into it, because I feel like looking through all of the work and having to make sure all of the details are exact kind of helps me. I'd say it helps me feel more reinforced in what kind of job I do.
To practice law or to be the investigator, or because there's so many different roles that you all have a chance to explore over the course of this 2-year program.
Yeah, so our first year program focuses more on the forensics. That is the path I have chosen for mine.
Okay.
But Teen Court also exposes me to public speaking. Mm-hmm. Speaking in front of that many people is a little bit nerve-wracking, especially when somebody's their sentencing is on the line and it's you are representing them or you're going against them. And it's kind of taught me to have a community behind my back and work well with others. I've worked with the other prosecuting attorneys, and they're that class feels so much like a family that it just they have your back. So no matter who you're going against or who you're with, you'll feel like you have a family behind you.
That's a pretty powerful testimony for the experience that you've had. What are the other things that you've learned or taken away from your 2 years in the class?
maybe field trips or guest speakers you want to
Oh yeah,
about?
first year was amazing. I'll give a little bit of background. I know before Ms. Tilson actually came to Chaparral, the criminal justice course was defined as a social studies course, I believe, and it was actually called criminology. And I think it was definitely not to the level that Ms. Tilson has actually brought it up to now. So
Thank you.
once I heard that that a new person was coming in and trying to take control of it, it got me interested. So I went in. I didn't have a lot of expectations because I didn't really know what to expect. But once we got in, she introduced us to so many opportunities. We have done countless different guest speakers. She coordinated all of them herself. So we've had speakers for year one, we've had a lot of different specialized units come. We've had SWAT and the mounted unit. She brought horses onto the Chaparral campus.
I did.
Well, wait, what?
Yeah. She brought the mounted unit
Nice.
of Scottsdale to the campus, and they brought 2 horses, both really beautiful, and we all got to ask questions and pet the horses even. And yeah, and then we also did the SWAT, like I mentioned. He pulled up in a massive truck, and he showed us all of the things. He had a bunch of gear. Mm-hmm. So all of those guest speakers were amazing. And then we got to go on a bunch of different field trips last year. So we went to the Arizona Department of Public Safety facility. So that was a headquarters. They had a lot of different gear. We did like a job shadow almost, where we sat next to 911 dispatchers, and we listened to like calls that they had to make, and we got to learn more about their job. And I actually got to there was more SWAT there. I actually got to pilot a robot dog that the SWAT had.
Wow.
I mentioned this on the podcast.
So the dog had a like arm on its back that was used to open doors and
had a camera.
Yeah.
And we saw the camera too.
It was awesome.
Did you bring the robot dog in to meet Rocket?
Yeah, I was going to say this is different than our.
Cool.
We had a different one.
Yeah, that was a different one, but we did have a robot dog on the campus, and Rocket ended up, meeting. I don't think it went that way. I don't think Rocket
Didn't go well.
It's a different kind of police dog, crisis canine. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of unique opportunities and a different chance to see all the different facets that come together, work together to support our legal system. So a lot of different career pathways within the one, right? And so does this align with internships and work-based learning? Are there opportunities to even further this while still in high school?
So Ms. Tilson is also the teacher of our internships and community service at Chaparral. And she was working with me to get one for the City of Phoenix Forensics. Unfortunately, you do have to be 18, so I had to decline it. But she's helped me with my application for college because I do want to be in forensics.
You did the Teen Academy.
The Teen Academy, yeah. So the FBI Teen Academy was also another thing that she helped a lot of other students get in, which is where you receive a case. So you go down to FBI Phoenix and you receive a case and you kind of have to solve it. So you're sat at a table with a bunch of other students all over the state and you come together to solve a crime and they give you jobs as soon as you walk in. We also got to see another SWAT vehicle. And it was kind of interesting because they were relearning, like kids were relearning things, but like the Chaparral students kind of already knew what was going on and we already knew our roles from just stepping onto them.
This is so cool. Like I'm thinking about truly how cool it is that you get to not only just learn from a book, right? But you get to also have all of these additional experiences and perspectives gained. Do you find that you have more empathy too now when you have to hear another student or a peer in the courtroom come forward with their case, or when you think about all that goes into the work and making a case? Are you finding that you're more empathetic to all of that?
Yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into it, but the outcome is always exciting to see. And sometimes there's little bit curveballs that happen during someone's testimony, and you kind of just have to adjust to it. And like with our team, since we're all very familiar with each other, we'll just be like, oh, okay, switch it. Like, we got to fix that. Like, we're just very cooperative as a group. So I feel like that has a huge impact on our experience that we've had.
And is it rewarding then to see justice done?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I'd say so too. When you were talking about empathy, I think I do feel a little more empathetic because before I didn't really have any idea what teen court was. But once we started getting into it, I learned that they actually have to admit that they're guilty before. So teen court is actually just us trying to find a reasonable sentence for them. But they need to admit their guilt to whatever they committed in order to even appear on teen court. So I think I've gotten a little bit more respect for them, at least in the sense that they own up to their actions and are admitting what they did was wrong. And I'd also say that, yeah, just like all of the different roles have helped us, like just learning.
So if you think about all of the courses you've had during your time at Chaparral, where does this rate? Scale of 1 to 10, your experience. Is it the reason you get out of bed in the morning to come to school?
Forget that she grades you.
What would you say to incoming freshmen from Cocopah or other places about the choices that they could make?
I would say it's pretty high up on there. It's a very important class. Even if you're not even like having an opportunity in criminal justice that you want to go into, it's still important to know your rights, how a courtroom works, what happens when you're arrested, how to adjust to a crime scene, what to do. We did 911 dispatching. I just think there's so many little factors in this course over the past 2 years that I know people that aren't even going into the criminal justice program that have taken something out of this.
Yeah, I think like what Angie was saying, I think there's aspects of life that you can like learn more about through the program, even if you don't want to go down that field. Like Now every time I watch some kind of like lawyer show or crime, I know exactly what's going on, and it's helped me like reason with each of like the sides and see like why they did a specific action. And then there's also like learning about the different crimes. We did a Stop the Bleed course actually. So I believe we had a certificate for it once we did it. And we learned how to apply tourniquets and, prevent people from bleeding out if they've been seriously injured.
You mentioned certs. What are the certificates that are available that students could earn through this program?
Currently, students are able to earn their crime scene management certification in the program in Scottsdale Unified School District, and those are always subject to change based on industry. But right now, that's the number one certification we focus on here in Scottsdale Unified School District. And so I want to circle back to the part about teen court. We provide consequences. I know we said sentences, but it's more so consequences. Same thing, kind of similar to sentences, but we provide them with a consequence. So I want to make that clear. The judge, at the courts downtown Mesa would more so provide an actual sentence for them if they happen to not follow through with what we've recommended for the consequences, apology letter, community service, counseling. The sentence could potentially come from the official judge.
Does the judge ever show up or meet with the class?
So we have a student who's able to play the role of judge in teen court, but teen court is a diversion program, and like Charlie mentioned, the student or the youth in the community, they have to admit fault when they appear before the juvenile court judge, and they have to opt in to be able to go to teen court. And so they can request to go to teen court, and they pick Chaparral as the location, and they would travel to Chaparral and have their case heard again in our official court, where they are truly judged by their peers, and their peers provide them with consequences. But their peers also have to read the police report, break openings, play the role of jurors and things like that. So it's kind of twofold. There's a lot of involvement with the official courts downtown Mesa with youth, but there's also, like I say, we're a diversion program for first-time offender youth, where they're able to go through teen court diversion program after they've admitted fault, and we come in and we work together with the youth to kind of repair harm, restorative practices. So,
what was it that made you interested in teaching the criminal justice program and showing up here in Scottsdale to lead this program?
I have a true passion for teaching. I have a true passion for learning. People always ask me, what do I like to do? And I like being a student. I truly like learning, right? And so teaching is one of the ways to continuously learn. And so I like to impart knowledge on our students in the community. And I know this may sound cliche, but students, they're our future, right? And so prior to coming to Scottsdale, I've been a teacher here for 2 years now. I worked with juvenile youth, right, who've engaged in crime. So it's very fitting, and I just think it's a great opportunity to expose our community to. And whatever the youth are engaging in, we have an opportunity to reach out, connect them, and serve the community in a unique way with this program. So that's what it's about, is exposing students to community involvement, but also educating them about rehabilitation, restorative practices, and just reaching over to help your peer who may not make the best decisions at time.
Well, I have to tell you, because what you have established and grown and continue to enhance is empowering as a citizen. Like you were saying, I mean, it'll make us all more aware of our rights and everything else, but then also truly helps people identify what that potential next step is in a career pathway. And to be in your lab, even just to tour it, much less to experience it, and now the new courtroom is so impressive. I really hope that families listening will think about just taking a tour and maybe, engaging in this conversation further at Chaparral, because what has been built and what will continue to grow, I imagine, is pretty impressive. So thank you for that.
Well, we thank you all. It would not be possible without the Scottsdale Unified School District community. You all have granted us the permission, the access, afforded us the opportunity, get us the things we need in our classroom. So we thank you as well.
Well, I think it's very compelling. When I was in school, we had a debate club, did a mock trial, not even close to what you've described here, so I'm jealous. One of the things that I like to do at the end of every podcast is give our guests an opportunity to give a shout out to a teacher who's made a difference in your life. And I want all three of you to be able to identify someone who's kind of had an impact. Can be anyone from any school, but we like to be able to celebrate our teachers on this show.
Well, I'd like to start with shouting out Miss Tilson because she's provided so many opportunities for me that and experiences that no other teacher has really ever provided. But I'd also, because for somebody that's not here, I'd like to shout out Paul Wheeler. He's the athletic trainer in Chaparral. He also teaches sports medicine. I'm in advanced sports medicine this year. So he's helped me learn a lot of things like sports related to like injuries and things like that. We just got a unit on physical fitness, helping me learn all sorts of things. We actually also did the Stop the Bleed course in his class like last week or a few weeks ago. And he's also, given me a bunch of skills like learning how to do CPR again and all sorts of things that have just really helped. So I really appreciate him.
Thank you, Charlie.
Another CTE program.
Yeah.
CTE is amazing. I would shout out my high school teachers, Mr. JL and Mr. Rogers, because every day that I teach, I always try to live up to the standard which they set forth. They really took the time to invest in their students, and that's kind of where I really learned the impact that teachers have on students. And so every day that I go in to teach, I say, I hope I'm leaving as big as an impact as they left on me. They took me to colleges to tour, helped me with the admissions process, FAFSA. So it's about leaving an impact. And when I think about impactful teachers, they impacted me. And also honorable mention to Mr. Vogel, Anthony Vogel. He's been my mentor since becoming a CTE teacher in Scottsdale.
Thank you, Tarnisha.
I would, of course, love to mention Miss Tilson. She has been such a wonderful part in my Chaparral experience. I am so excited to go with my future, knowing that Miss Tilson had my back and she understands what I want to do, helped me get there, and I just think it was such a wonderful experience, and I am so grateful for that. Another teacher I would love to give a shout out to is Miss Panzera. She's one of the sweetest people I know, and she was a great teacher. I had her last year. And she's just someone that you can go to, and she'll talk to you, and she'll give you just any advice that you need. And our backgrounds are very similar, so it's just a teacher that I connected with, and it was just a great experience.
Well, thank you all so much for sharing about the criminal justice program, the teen court, and your experiences, and for lifting up the teachers that you gave a shout out to today. It really does make a difference, and we're so grateful for your time to be able to tell the story.
And we appreciate all of our listeners who tuned into this episode, and we hope that you'll continue to listen to future episodes and even pitch us some ideas on our website, susd.org/spotlight.